Good morning and welcome to the Football Transfer Forum introduces Squad Plus. I'm Tony Sharkey, founder of the Football Transfer Forum, and that was just a brief trailer showcasing our last couple of events, one at Etihad and one at Anfield. You might have spotted Victor Orta there, who's the sporting director of Leeds United. He was over at Liverpool with us. And obviously now he's in the Premier League. Today, I'm lucky to be joined by Jed Searson. Morning, Jed.
Morning, Tony. Morning, everyone. I don't know about lucky, but yeah, at least you're joined anyway.
How are you, Jed?
I'm fine, Tony. It's been an interesting week with all the activities and so on that's been going on. I'm sure we'll discuss that shortly as well. But yeah, it's been a good week. Lots of stuff to discuss, I think.
Yeah, great. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk a little bit, quite a lot about, we're focusing purely on Squad Plus today. And hopefully you guys will find out what it's all about. It's really something that me and Jed have been working on for a number of months now. It's really taken this transfer market by storm. But before we get into that, we had a really exciting Wednesday in the Championship, Jed.
You know what, to be honest, I actually feel gutted. I actually missed most of it. This is the thing, you see. So it was when sort of Sky News went a bit berserk with the goals going in, and I didn't realise exactly how much it could change in literally minutes at the end there. I mean, was you watching the game live yourself? Were you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've got a lad at Brentford, so in effect, I was hoping that they would get past West Brom, and West Brom went a goal down, and then Brentford went a goal down, and then they went up, and it was exciting at the top, but it was also exciting at the bottom.
Yeah, well, it just seems to be. I said I didn't realise it. I thought a lot of it was kind of almost dealt with, and then as goals were going in, it was it's got to be one of the most maddest end of seasons ever, really, with how much difference was going from getting promoted and getting avoided relegation. It was like Luton at the last minute, and Barnsley, and then just ridiculous stuff going on. So, which is great fun to see, though, isn't it?
Oh, it was fantastic to watch. Yeah, absolutely, Jed. I mean, it was sort of box office that you don't really get in. Where everyone sat at home. I suppose the problem was no fans in the stadiums to bite the nails, and maybe, I don't know, the tension doesn't sort of translate through the telly as much as when you're actually there on the in the actual game. But no, it was great. I really enjoyed it, and obviously there's the playoffs to come. Who do you fancy in the playoffs?
You know, I've got a sneaky feeling for Brentford. That's kind of what I'd be honest, I'd like them to go as a kind of a local club down this way as well in London. It'd be nice for a club like that to go to get their chance. I mean, I remember going to watch them games when they was in League Two and trying to get out, and just as a club, and where they're going to now. Do they move into the new stadium?
They're moving in. Yeah, they're moving into the new stadium next season. I think the developers of the old stadium were hoping to get in a bit before now to start building the flats or whatever they're going to do with it. But yeah, they've got one more game, which is obviously it's Swansea, isn't it? They've got Swansea, who they sneaked in. Unbelievable that. I never saw that coming at all. Sneaking past Forest. Wow. But I actually think Cardiff are the team to worry about. You know, they've been there before.
Yeah.
None of the Brentford players have had that type of pressure, and maybe the pressure got to Brentford a little bit in the last couple of games, you know. And maybe the fact that Cardiff have done it recently, they're a bit of a yo-yo. It's a potential yo-yo club. Obviously, they've got Fulham, which is going to be a tough game, but I'm sort of thinking Cardiff might do it.
Yeah, we'll soon know. I mean, we've just discussed it a minute ago. There's obviously Tony's gone now. Obviously, there's a bit of a managerial change we found this morning as well. Well, I won't say a change. New managers moved into the Championship as well. Huddersfield got a new manager today as well, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Jed, let's move on to Squad Plus, because obviously the guys have come on to talk about Squad Plus, and you know, just tell us a little bit about it from your point of view.
I mean, probably the best way of mentioning it is how we almost really how we started it, to be honest, as well. So basically, I mean, Squad Plus is a recruitment tool, basically an information tool. This obviously for agents, but also for clubs as well. And it just gives information that's never really been, well, it's never been collected together in a way that can be used by agents. Basically, we gather all the information from every single club, how their current squads are set up at the moment, what players they've got in the club, what players obviously are leaving or have left already now as the window's starting to start to happen. And it just pinpoints exactly what positions every club would need. But also not just they need a goalkeeper, they need a striker, but kind of what type of player. So in what age groupings and experience, what they can bring to the team, and also how do they fit into the squads as well, regarding being a first choice or a cover player, and also into what sort of formation and style of player they've been using this season as well. So there's a lot of information. That's me summarising very briefly. There's an awful lot of information in it. As I said, this is obviously for agents, been using this now since we started back in May, and also we've got a number of clubs. We've got 25 clubs at the moment using information as well, with their recruitment department and also with their line managers as well. And also today we've obviously got a bit of there's a special offer going on for this weekend as well. This is all really for Monday, because Monday is, Tony, have you been excited for the transfer window officially opening on Monday?
Yeah, well, to be honest, the transfers never really stop. It's just the green light. Now a lot of the things have been decided. I think there's a few lower down to decide in the non-league, but other than the Championship playoffs, everything's more or less decided after this weekend. We'll see who goes down in the Prem and what have you. But everything's more or less there, isn't it? And everyone can crack on and focus on a transfer window. So obviously the Black Friday sale is for that weekend, isn't it? For this weekend, and the window opens. And just for those guys who perhaps are watching from abroad, our window is going to finish on the 5th of October. We're going to have another couple of weeks where we can do domestic transfers between like the Premier League and the Championship and League One and League Two and further down. But really that date of October the 5th is the sort of date at the end. So we've got a good 2 months to work at it, and to get the deals done. And I know it's going to be a bit of a depressed market, but we're going to try. I've got a few deals that I'd like to get over the line that I've been talking about for some months. And let's see. But clubs can make decisions. Obviously the financial aspects of what's happened in the pandemic and everything are really affecting the clubs lower down. But as we get more clarity, I think the clubs will be fine to recruit and to buy players and what have you. Just moving on to the next slide, Jed. This is a free download as well, isn't it, on the site?
It is, yeah. There's a couple of free downloads on there as well. This is an earlier one from Rotherham earlier in the window, explaining what their squad was at that point, who was leaving, and so on, and that can be downloaded. There's one from West Ham as well. We might actually update that today as well. There's been a bit more activity there, so we will put an updated version on there as well.
And it's updating as the window's going on, isn't it? So
I mean, all our information is constantly updated. There's been updates all this week, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the activity is starting to happen. So the information once purchased from whatever league that obviously is desirable for you to have that information. Information is constantly updated throughout the window until the window closes. But literally anything that changes, any movements, anyone signs a new deal, anyone leaves the club, anyone joins the club, obviously the information has changed there as well. I mean, I know you were saying about the window there a moment, a bit uncertainty. As we know from looking at the charts, Tony, there's still going to be an awful lot of work going on.
Absolutely.
Because I know people keep saying at the moment, well, clubs are uncertain. There's clubs there that haven't got a goalkeeper. There's clubs there that haven't got a centre midfielder in their ranks and situations like that. So there is loads of opportunities in this window.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Those clubs like Rotherham, we've got Rob Scott, who's the head of talent ID and recruitment, on our next football transfer webinar. But they've gone up a league, haven't they? So now their recruitment slightly changes. We'll have to monitor that. Obviously, they're recruiting for the championship now, so it's a slightly different twist on what they were looking for previously to where they are now in the championship, and it's going to be a tough ask. It's going to be good that's the next webinar up, is the Football Transfer Forum. We've got Rob Scott on because we wanted to hear he's got some tricky challenges there. So we'll get that updated on the document on our website as well, and you can look forward to seeing Rob. I'll flip ahead to the clubs, Jed, because you've been doing brilliantly with this. I mean, this is from a standing start, guys. So this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we've got. I think there's 24 pages of clubs on there at the moment. I think we're edging up nearly towards 30 clubs now at the moment. So we've got 30 different clubs using the information that we've got. This is the same information that's available for agents. Clubs are using the same information for their purposes as well. So we've got these clubs on board at the moment. You can see there's clubs there from the Premier League down right through to the Conference North and South, and also overseas as well. I don't mean Ross County when I meant overseas.
The New Saints, Jed, was it?
The New Saints, yeah. So you've got the New Saints in there. We've even got the Blasters from India.
Kerala Blasters.
So those guys they're using information because they've obviously got a lot of players in the past and come from the UK as well. So they're using the intel. So basically, the information we've got there, it was designed to help transfer or literally any transfer deals this summer for intermediaries. Clubs obviously using it as well, and it's just literally gathered steam from there. So basically, we gathered all the information from information's in the public domain already, but also information that is from different paid sources, different paid websites, I should say, but also information that we've had to gather ourselves from club contacts as well, so to actually get the information spot on. So literally, when someone comes to say, well, maybe I could do this myself, Tony. I mean, people have kind of asked, said, oh, I could go and source this information myself and so on.
Yeah.
And if you try to do that, it will take you a very long time to do that.
You may be ready for the January window, but you certainly won't be ready on Monday. That's for sure.
But also, but also it's the sources out there. There is sources. There's kind of different kind of websites you can get information and so on. As we've found out, and as we know, the information is not always correct as well. And if one bit of information is wrong, it kind of completely ruins this whole process of how a squad looks like and what they actually need. Where one source might tell you a player, for example, is a centre midfielder, and he has played centre midfield, but we know he's been playing centre back for the last year. So we go and scout every single player as well. So every single player's played, we've checked them on iScout, looked through previous scout reports. We know exactly where the players play. We know what foot it is, what height it is, how many games he's played during the season. Is he a regular starter or a squad player? How many minutes they've played in the games? Any kind of details like that. Again, the assists, goals scored, all that information goes together, gets collated together. Contract information. I think we are the only people at the moment that have actually got every single player's contract details correct. And we're on top of it. So even with the window, when the window opens, Tony, or opens officially now, and even when the release list was coming out, we knew exactly whose contract was up and so on. And you know, going forward as well, how long these players are, who's got another 2 years on their deal or 1 year and so on like that, which is information probably can't find.
And I mean, I've found that, you know, when I've been contacting my network, and some of the clubs are up there, but we've reached out to far more, almost probably 60% of the clubs. They've been really good with myself and Jed in terms of sharing some of their information, in terms of, look, you know, this is what we're looking for. And I remember going back when I first started as an agent and trying to, you know, wheedle out of clubs, what you're looking for. Do you want a right back? Do you want a left back? And instead of, for us agents, instead of just hammering them with a number of players, to get the squad plus and to know where their areas of weakness are and what they require and what they've, you know, and in many cases, what they've actually said to us that they need, it gives you a great in with a club, because you can just go and say, right, I notice your right back's out of contract. the other one hasn't been playing much. I've got this right back, or I've got this centre, whatever position it is. And that gives you such an advantage, because immediately, I mean, Jed, you've worked for like West Ham and all that.
No, it said if you, as a former chief scout myself, I was a former chief scout in the Football League at Grimsby Town and at Leyton Orient, and I was first team scout at West Ham in the Premier League under Sam Allardyce as well. And agents would approach the club and yourself and trying to offer you players that wasn't of the position that you needed and so on. But I'm sorry if I put something on there. Literally, people would offer players that wasn't suitable for what the club needed, or positions that wasn't needed filling and so on like that. So again, this is how it goes back to what we wanted to create for agents, to help agents get these deals done, be it having the correct information, knowing what clubs want, but also when you approach the club, it makes you come across that a little bit more professional than maybe possibly you might have done in the past or whatever when you're dealing with a club. Literally going in and knowing what the clubs need and what they want.
Yeah, and you'd studied the positions and the setups, the formations of the clubs. So, you know, in some respects, when you've got a right back, is he attacking right back? Can he do right wing back? Can he, you know, is he just a good solid defender? Is he, you know, what is he? And also Squad Plus helps you to see at a glance. I mean, it's literally 2 pages on each club, isn't it? But 2 pages with immense detail and everything you as an agent need to know in terms of, right, they have played with wing backs, they have played with 2 strikers, they have played with wingers. And these questions are fundamental for you, because, you know, if you can't sort of offer Tony Pulis or, you know, a quick small winger to play a right back, or a right wing back to play in the right back position, because he wants somebody tall, 6'2" plus, who can defend. And Squad Plus, and let's face it, you know, in England, how many clubs? 91 professional clubs, and then there's another 24 in the National League, and then in Scotland we've done all the top 12, plus we did Dundee United as well, didn't we? Because they were getting promoted.
Yeah, so it's fine.
So you can't possibly get around all those clubs and know everything about all those clubs. But with Squad Plus, you can.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, we've had this discussion where someone's kind of sort of approached us, and this information would be helpful for me. I've got a right back, for example, that I'm trying to move. He will play first choice at this level, but he'd potentially be a backup at this level. But he's now 32 years of age. We're trying to get him another move. And I'd say, okay, well, literally look at this information, and straight away you look at a club there that's playing right with wing backs. And this guy is 32 years old, potentially maybe not really suited to play for that style of play. So straight away, you know, that's potentially the club maybe not to approach him. But there's another club there that are looking for a senior player. They've just lost their 27-year-old right back. The only right back they've got at the club at the moment is an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old that's just been out on loan. He's probably not going to step up, so they're going to need that player as an experienced body there to get them promoted or avoid relegation this year. And that's when the player that you've got would fit into that potential system there. So the information's there. Rather than you to get on the phone, trying to ring round and hoping that someone might come back with something that might be suitable with you within a second. We had a goalkeeper, Mark Howard, Blackpool.
Oh yeah.
Just been released there, and he contacted us and said, "Look, could you give us some help, please?" He said, "I'm just been released. I'm looking for another League One club potentially," and that was through LinkedIn. Contacted us, and he actually posted it on there as well, the help that we gave him, and he just literally got the League One, League Two chart straight away. Within minutes, he knew what clubs that he needed to go and approach. Because he said he knew he'd be first choice potentially in the League Two, but maybe a backup in the League One. And within moments, he said that's it. He knew who to speak to. So I hope Mark gets a great deal. I think hopefully.
Well, Jed, when he does, I think we're on 10% commission, aren't we?
We are. Definitely as well. And I think we're getting a pair of gloves in the post centres anyway.
I don't need gloves. Tell him I don't need gloves. But But we'll just move on to the football club side of things. I mean, I don't know how many. I noticed a few names that I recognise from football clubs on the webinar today. But you know, we have. You've seen the slide where how many clubs have got on board. Is West Brom one of them? Because we've just had their loan manager.
West Brom's on there.
Yeah. Because the loan managers, just tell us about the loan managers, Jed, because they've been absolutely loving it, haven't they?
Yeah, we've got two loan managers. There was two that was basically told about this yesterday. We got very excited as well. So we're not there to replace them or anything like that. It's just it's a tool. So the same information we just discussed there regarding how we highlight what clubs would need in which positions for a loan manager of a club. A loan manager of a club, this is priceless, because again, they would know within a second looking through the leagues, and they've got a 21-year-old left back, for example, that they want to get game time this year. Instantly looking at our charts, would find probably 15, 20 clubs straight away, potentially think, right, they need a left back desperately, could be as a first choice or a backup, and straight away to be able to see. But also to be able to see the information from last year, that's what the information's still there as well, where how many loan players of that club took on board, and if those guys actually got match time under the belt. So as a loan manager, this is vital, because it would just cut their workload down dramatically, because the homework is the groundwork has been done for them. So the information there. So there's two Leicester and West Brom are using information at the moment, and there was two more Championship clubs, one Championship club, one Premier League club yesterday, discussing it as well, as this would really help him out.
Great. And Jed, just a bit of housekeeping. If anybody who's watching the webinar has a question for Jed or myself about Squad Plus, feel free to type it into the Q&A section, and then we'll get to them towards the end of the presentation. So, you know, there's no silly questions. If you've got a question for us, type it in the box and we'll get to it towards the end. Let's just crack on a little bit, and we'll talk about the clubs. These are the leagues that we cover. Yeah,
well, the National League's there as well. So English Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, Scots Prem, and the National League as well. So that slide is on there as well.
The National League. Just tell us about the National League, Jed, because obviously
that's an interesting one, because that's obviously not completely finished yet either as well. So this weekend we'll kind of know, obviously, that and the playoffs from the north and south below it as well. So all the details are covered on the National League as well, which is obviously another strange league. It's I would say an unusual league where there's obviously players that are dropping down from the Football League that are going in there, but also players that are kind of making their first step up from lower non-league. But a lot of interest from agents there that are working with guys that are in the old Ryman's League, I suppose.
But non-league players, everyone is looking for that next Jamie Vardy story, and then that is it. You know, that tells you everything you need to know about how fantastic the pyramid system is in England. That you can go from, I know he was a young player at Sheffield Wednesday, but you can go from Stocksbridge Steelers, which I think are about the 8th or 9th level, and then end up on the pitch winning the Premier League and playing for England. It's just if you had that as a film, like The Next Goal 4 or whatever, you wouldn't believe it, would you? You wouldn't believe it.
No.
But I mean, the National League, the other thing to say about the National League is, you know, there's very few 2 and 3 year contracts dished out in the National League. They very much go from season to season. You know, I was talking to one of the guys who's a sporting director in a good club in the National League, and they said, you know, we have to re-sign. The first thing we do is re-sign the ones that we want to re-sign, or try and keep all of the ones that we want to re-sign. So when you have a look at those documents, the National League documents, you know, every club is, the turnover of players is immense in a window. Let's look more at a bit more detail about how it actually works, Jed.
So the details there. So this is, as I just briefly mentioned there. So I worked at West Ham before I was a chief scout in the Football League. And we used to use a chart system like this, basically just kind of trying to put in the squads together, looking what areas wasn't as advanced as what we've created here. But it was just basically working out what positions were covered, which players were leaving with their contracts, which areas, which players were obviously a first choice or a cover player. And we used to just work out what the plot in, what positions would be need covered in the next transfer window. And you just and most clubs will do the same process. But have this process of working out what they've got and what they need. So this is what we use down. I use this as a chief scout as well as an information, just to try and as a guide and summary to what we'll be after. And we kind of flipped it around. I know it was something with your courses, Tony, your agent courses, something we discussed on there on my scouting workshops. And I get a lot of agents on my workshops as well. And it was something we discussed with them. And that's where the concept kind of came from, because agents like this process. We made it very clear, and using this system, you can work out at a glance the club needed a left back, or they needed another striker, or they need an experienced goalkeeper. So we put a flip on it, and we created this for everyone, basically.
You know, when Jed mentioned the agents courses, so we run ASA Football Agent as well, which Jed is a vital component in, because it's sort of both sides of the equation. You need to know what the scouts are looking for, and you sort of need to have a scouting mentality as well as an agent. So these, you know, the Squad Plus brings the two together, and obviously clubs are using them and agents are really benefiting from them. And it just, and obviously Jed does input into the ASA Football Agent courses as well. And it just sort of completes the circle, really. But let's go a little bit further in, and let's go to the next slide. This is from when they sort of finished playing, if you like, isn't it? It's back in May. This
was before. I mean, obviously it's just changed now as well. And then you can see that there was players on there that were loan players that are leaving. For example, you can see players on there. If you look closely in purple, were the players that was on loan to the club. Guys that was in red, the guys whose contracts were running out, and some of those guys have been retained, some have left now. That's all been updated as well. That's a glance you can see what the sheet likes. And I think if you look at the next one, there's a little bit more zoomed in there. You can actually see the detail what we have in there. So you can see not only literally that's a part of a heat map that we create with this as well. So information in the last sheet, you can see where people have played, how many games, and so on, and you can work out what position they need covered. We created a heat map area even more to make it.
That was an example one, wasn't it, Jay? Yeah. I've flipped ahead a little bit on the slide.
So that was a team that we took the names off there, and took the players' names off, and as you can look there straight away. So, for example, there, the centre back area of this club, they've got 4 centre backs. One that is 18 years of age and never played a game, and the 3 guys below him in the purple are all guys who are under the age of 23. They're on loan.
Yeah.
And so those 3 guys have gone back to their club, who are actually Premier League clubs. They've gone back now. So this club there is at the moment, and they haven't replaced the situation yet. So they will need literally 4 centre backs in this window.
Perfect.
And it'd be wanting an even spread there. They won't want players there. They've obviously got they've literally got players there at the moment, obviously only covering a younger age group, but they will want. This club, I know they want to get promoted. They will want senior centre backs.
Yeah, to be honest,
and younger ones.
You know, it's great for development having 4 centre backs. Well, it isn't great for development because they're on loan, but 4 centre backs under 23, it's sort of not really. It's the Al Hansen. You're not going to win out with kids, but certainly in the centre back area, you probably need a little bit of nous and experience and game management and all those things that your senior centre backs probably give. So, you know, if you had a centre back for this club, which club was it, Jed? Can you remember?
It actually was Fleetwood.
Fleetwood. Yeah. Fleetwood are going for it though, aren't they? They're going for it.
Yeah. So it was just something we left open now, but it was an interesting one. But as you said regarding positions there, like again, this is information. You can look at information, but you've got to look between the lines as well. That's why we do the heat maps, because you said a centre back position at a club, it's not an ideal, as you said, 23-year-old centre halves is not a good situation, because those guys, when they do, and it will happen, when they have a dip in form, and a loss of confidence comes, they're going to struggle. So clubs wouldn't want in that spine of the team. And also they wouldn't want 3 guys that are in the age of over 34 or 32 years of age, because those guys pick up injuries, they're never going to recover as well.
We're just going through, as the seasons are finishing off and more players are being signed, and obviously when the window opens, really making sure everything, and there's lots of updates. We'll talk about updates later, but making sure everything's bang on when you get your Squad Plus league, whichever league or all the leagues that you get, we're making sure they're up to date. Because obviously in the football business, it's a very fast moving, changing scenario for players and for managers. We've seen a couple of managers lose. I mean, Nigel Pearson losing his job, unbelievable, wasn't it? Unbelievable. And then the Cowley brothers, Danny, what's his brother's name again? I've forgotten the younger one. Is it Nicky? Is it Danny and Nicky? Yeah. Nicky Cowley losing their jobs down at Huddersfield. I dare say there'll be a few more after the window. And then this slide, I'll just talk a little bit about this slide because it's got the heat map that you're familiar with now, but it's also got the recruitment contacts. So as I said, we've got Rob Scott there. He's head of recruitment, head of talent ID and recruitment. Chris Trotter, who used to work at Middlesbrough. Some of you might know him from Middlesbrough. He's the sort of chief scout under Rob. Rob's on our next Transfer Forum webinar on the 6th of August at 10:30, which is another must for you guys. And then in the middle, it's got recent incoming transfer activity. So the next, and that'll include the players that are coming in this season as activity. And obviously, once they come in, if a goalkeeper comes in, the heat map will change. And then we also, and anybody else comes in, the heat map's got to change. And then when the transfer commentary, it just describes a little bit about the club. It describes what players they need, the transfer fees and what they might pay. A lot of clubs in League One and League Two, you can forget transfer fees because it's all going to be frees and what have you. Somebody like Rotherham have traditionally paid a transfer fee. It might go up a little bit in the Championship. They'll probably try to avoid paying any transfer fees, but you know, that's why that transfer commentary is there. That's why the transfer activity is there, to give you a feel for what, you know, they're not spending millions. You can't go with a £20 million striker. They're not spending that money, you know, but they are spending some money. And then, as I said before, on the left-hand side, there's team playing info, which Jez and his team have put together so that you know exactly what they're all about. You know, that the fact that there's the 2 sheets, the squad, and also the heat map and the contacts, it's everything you need, really. We've mentioned some of this, haven't we, Jed? But do you want to just go through this?
Yes, I mean, I literally said all the information is constantly updated on there as well. So this week alone, there's been an awful lot of activity. Norwich was a case example this week. They've been proactive already for next season as well. So in terms of transfer come in, information goes into the charts straight away. It's been removed from another chart if they've moved from a club. That's also another league that we cover as well. The heat map changes that information as well. But we have everything on there, the contract details on there, that information. If there's someone's obviously coming on a short-term contract, then potentially, you know, they may still be looking for another player in a position to be a long-term signing as well. So that information's put on there. The game playing stats from last season have been kept on there as well. So we'll be updating those again this weekend as well. So that paints a picture as well. The playing stats really is something really important in there. If on that little clip you can't see, we haven't got them on there. You actually just got the appearances on there, the goals and the assists. That really paints a picture. We also have the minutes played, the average minutes played. So you can look at a player straight away, and if he's you can work out if he's a backup player in a certain position. If your player has got better statistics than that player there, or the player that has actually left the club, that's a great opportunity for you then to approach that club as well, saying the guy that you left the club, the right midfielder, has got 4 assists and got 3 goals last year. Well, my guy's played and he's got 11 goals and 7 assists. Straight away, you're thinking, this is an improvement on what the club's already had. So you're already making inroads in there as well. It's preparation for you guys. When you're talking to a club as an agent, it just gives you more ammunition to go in. The background work has been done for you. It's a massive time saver. So it just gives you that bit more detail. So when you're having that initial discussion with the club, really you're on board. You know exactly what the story is, and where the club is sitting, and how your players can improve the club, and how their players will fit into the club.
Yeah, we've mentioned the team playing in full, but that's what it looks like. It just gives you, look, if you're making a call or going into a meeting, you get the Squad Plus team that you're going to speak to. You have a look, league position 5th, right? They've been in there or thereabouts. What happens? You can see the back line, you can see the setup of the forward line, and you can have a chat to the chief scout. And similarly for loan managers, if they're ringing somebody down in League One and saying, look, I've got a Premier League player, he's a 20-year-old in our under 23s, and he'll fit into the 3-5-2 system, for example. He'll fit perfectly and name his position. You can, you're already onto a winner. They might say, oh yeah, he's not for us, but at least they'll know you've done your homework, you know what you're talking about, and you're not offering the wrong, a square peg in a round hole, as we would say in English, Jed.
Yeah. It's just making that point now. You said, Sonny, that even if the deal doesn't go through or doesn't happen, at least you've come in there and you've made yourself being professional, and you've actually come in. I said as a chief scout myself, sometimes the players approach you, a player, and they said, okay, we've got a goalkeeper for you. We've got 3 goalkeepers already. Yeah, but he's a really good goalkeeper. It wasn't suitable. He said it's just doing a little bit of homework, but also cuts down on the calls, and you can target which clubs that you need to approach. And that's the real point of it as well.
Yeah.
Cut down that workload.
Jed, we've got a question from Jerome, and I think I'm going to guess he could be in Holland. He looks like he's got a Dutch name, but if you're not in Holland, Jerome, and I'm saying your name wrong, my apologies. He says correct, so I've done well there. And I'm going to ask you whereabouts you are, Jerome. But I'll get on to his question. He says, hi guys, how can I tell when there's updates to the Squad Plus sheets? How can I tell?
How can you tell? We constantly sell them. So basically, what we do, we have you on a mailing list there for every league that you purchase. Every time that league is updated, you get the update is actually emailed straight through to you. So you're constantly getting a flow of emails coming through. So every time there's updates on it, we just send them back out for you again. And then on there, you can see the information on the charts there. We have it highlighted if a player's been signed by a club. There's like a yellow arrow on them, so it displays instantly that the guy has been signed. So a new sign has come in, or a player's left, there'll be another red arrow's moved on there, and what club he's moved to, where he's coming from. And as soon as that happens, the heat map just changes straight away. So if it's a relevant situation, sometimes the heat map, one movement only can change 3 or 4 different things at once. It happens. You're thinking a club might be looking for a younger player, for example, as backup, and then they sign an experienced one. It just changes the whole row of the heat map as well. But yep, so the question is when updates are needed or updates are made, bang, information is just sent straight through to you.
Great. How many are we doing, Jed? Did you say? Was it 6?
Jacob's just asked. They said, "Well, if you've had 6 updates, we've probably sent out about 8 updates already." So that was initial. What we said initially was that it was you'd get a minimal of 6. A minimal. We knew that number was going to be way over that. I think even the League One itself must have had about 10 updates already. That said, we're obviously we're changing the way we're doing things as well. There's obviously more people coming on board with what we're doing with the information from our end. So the information is going to be updated literally every day, and the idea is updates that come out. And as soon as there's been a wave of activity, like 2 days ago, there was a wave of activity. Yeah. Yesterday there was literally nothing. Yeah. It was very strange how it went. So 2 days ago we updated everything, sent it all out. Yesterday I think it was just the goalkeeper at Leeds was really the only signing of the day, so there was no updates made.
And the goalkeeper at Leeds was already there on loan, and they made his loan move permanent, didn't they? Because he's a very promising 19, 20-year-old, isn't he?
I know. To be honest, I know him from France, and to be honest, he made more gaffes than actually good stuff when he was playing in France. Yeah, it was quite one we won't be overly certain with. He was obviously a young kid playing at senior level. obviously progressed from there. But again, that for example, that signing now completely changes everything. The heat map then changes because that position's now been covered.
Been sorted. Yeah, it's been sorted. And the same with Helder Costa. They signed Helder Costa. I thought he was a terrific loan option, and obviously they paid a lot of money for him. He's already played in the Premier League, of course, with Wolverhampton Wanderers. So I think that was a shrewd piece of business as well, wasn't it? So.
But back to the original question, the updates, we just constantly send them out right until the window closes. We know when that's going to be now as well, so the information just keeps going out all the time. So when the activities are made.
And I think Jed said a minimum of 6 when we started, and like he said, he sent 8. It was just to give people an idea, because this is our first window, this is our first season of doing the Squad Plus. We've had some really great feedback. I mean, we've had agents, we've had top people at clubs, we've had some good loan managers. We've had, interestingly, there's some clubs that have just got no scouts now. They've got no scouts, and that's why they've said to Jed, please, can we have Squad Plus, because it's good for the free agent market. It's good for, placing players or finding out who's out of contract. So, and I particularly, having worked, I've worked with agents from various countries and Holland, our friend Jerome. I've worked with different countries as well as Holland, abroad. And, if you're not following these leagues in our country, in England and in Scotland, this is like your ultimate cheat sheet. It's your ultimate, I haven't been following the Premier League, I haven't been following the Championship, but I've got Squad Plus and I don't need to, because everything I need is there. Tell us, Jed, tell us about one of the agents, what he said. I won't mention his name because he wanted to remain anonymous.
It was, that was quite a strange one. So this guy has said he's was it Tony that you know from your courses, and he's actually attended my workshops as well. So he'd actually seen the squad charts. It's something I explain on my workshops, what we did at clubs and so on. And I said to my agents, look, as an agent, you should be trying to recreate this information yourself, to try and do your homework on the club. And then he said he actually had done it. And we said, when we brought this out, and he instantly bought every single league. He has all 6 leagues. He bought the original 4 and bought the Scottish and the National League as well. And he just said, you've saved me a fortune of time, because he said, I was trying to do this myself, and said, you've done it all for me. He said, I absolutely love this. He said, I've got a couple of players from France that I'm looking to move into the Championship. There was another guy potentially was a Premier League player and a couple of lower league players. He said, Jed, you've actually saved me so much time. This is great. So the only thing I can't do for you, I said, I can't tell anyone else how good this is, because I don't want anyone else to have it.
Yeah, we'll charge him extra next year. That's for sure.
So it was a recommendation, but also he refused to do any publicity for us because of it. So he said it was great. He said, I don't want anyone else to have it. And I think this is for all agents there. If you've got this, you're ahead of your your competitor. And if you haven't got it, someone else who has is already ahead of you. And they'll be making the approaches to the clubs before you. And they're already cutting their workload down, and they're targeting the correct clubs. But the clubs, I mean, that's a big thing with us is the clubs. I mean, if you're on LinkedIn, which I presume most of the guys here, you can see the posts from the professional clubs, and that's probably the best reference we've had. Is that the clubs are absolutely loving information. If they didn't like the information we were providing or didn't agree with it, they wouldn't be using it, and they wouldn't be telling everyone else how good it is. So they know how good it is. This one, and a lot of the guys I know from when I was working in the game with these guys anyway, so they know what we're producing, they know what I've done. So they've indicated exactly what to do.
Yeah. So we're just gonna wrap up shortly. If there's any real burning questions for Jed or myself, put them on there. What's the future going to hold for Squad Plus, Jed? Obviously, we're having a good summer at the moment, and it's a good summer transfer window. What's your ideas in terms of the next step and January or other leagues and all that type of thing?
Yeah, I know we obviously want to get to the next window as well. We start a fresh team with information again. Also, it's the other leagues as well. many people have asked us for overseas leagues as well. And the only reason we didn't do them this year is that we wanted to really nail down and have the information we've got on the British league. We wanted that spot on. We could have done the French league, we could have done the Spanish league. The German league was kind of offered for us as well, but we wanted to make sure that this leagues that we've got was spot on. We didn't want this information to be only half-hearted or loose or not keeping the updates up. We want this updated. Can we discuss the packages? The cost, there's a question come through. Tony, I can see it there.
Is that in the chat, is it?
It's in the chat, yeah. I can see what the costings. So the costings are, which are going to be from 12 o'clock today, it should be, or maybe at least 1 o'clock. As I said, we're starting our Black Friday sale or weekend sale. But I said, even like at the moment, the National League has been going for £90, and today it's £45 just for this weekend until Monday. That's £45.
I mean, really, Jed, when I look at it, you might as well just get the whole lot, because if you're going to work in England, Scotland, you might as well, there is deals, isn't there, for the whole packages?
Yeah, and I mean the full. If you're doing the 4 English leagues, even if it's the Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, that's £499. So, but this weekend it's £250. If you wanted all 6 leagues, which was £600, which is already kind of on a discount already. That's £300 this weekend. So that's every single league. So that's the Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, National League, Scottish Prem, for £300, and that's updated throughout the whole summer, all the way well.
And one of the things I would say is, the football transfer window is a first come, first served marketplace. So as you get further through the window, there's less opportunities to place your players. There's less, gaps in squads. Our heat maps start stabilising. There's less reds. There's less yellows. And as you're getting towards the last week of the window, obviously the demand for good players is higher, but there's not that many people who like to do business in the end of a transfer window. I mean, I don't know whether anybody watches Netflix and watch this Sunderland Till I Die program. It was a real eye opener. It showed the daily dealings of a football club. It showed the chief exec and the chairman wheeling and dealing in some of the worst possible ways. I thought they did everything they possibly could wrong. They've left now, fortunately, well, almost left. They're trying to sell the club. But it just shows you that you're shopping in the last days of the transfer window. There's very few clubs who really want to do business then. If they do business, it'll be for high prices and they'll be desperate. But, it's getting in early if you possibly can. I think that's the key, and that's why, you've got this weekend, get the squad plus. If you are working at a high level and you've got high level players, it's not even going to touch your commission. It's going to be I've
just looked on the site. The prices are all ready to go for 12 o'clock now. So they're all.
Oh, is it 12 o'clock?
12 o'clock. So they're on there now. I've just looked on there, Tony, as you was discussing there. I'm just looking at them there. One by one they're changing, and the last 2, which is the full packs, will be changed there in a moment as well. So Tony, you can't for the price, Tony. The information there is such a time saver. It's untrue. And it's really, as an agent, you have to have it.
I mean, go to the Squad Plus footballintel.com website, have a look at it. Jed, I mean, obviously we've chatted for a good 50 minutes here, and we've had a good attendance on this webinar. But if somebody did have a random question that they just think of after the event, would it be all right to get in touch with you?
Yeah, get hold of me on LinkedIn. Message me on there, or message you through the website as well. There's emails there, and speak to me there. Any questions you've got whatsoever, I'm here to help you out. I'm sure there'll be questions. So as I said, it's a great tool anyway, but for this weekend as well, it's a must. Just go and get it. So the only regret I think some of you will have after buying this weekend is that you didn't get it before, or you didn't have this years ago. I think that's the biggest regret I think some of the agents will have here. So you just need this information, because it'll just help you literally get you one step closer to getting more deals put across. And I said every deal that can be done, Tony, potentially is a life changer in some ways, in some guys.
For agents and players alike, I mean, if you've got a stable of players and one of them doesn't get a deal that he wanted this summer, he starts worrying about you, he starts worrying about his position, he starts worrying about, all sorts of different things. And if this makes a difference, then, it could be massive. It could be massive. And also, the players, it's a very short career mostly, isn't it? It is a very short career. If you do get Squad Plus and have a chance, and it helps you do one deal, let us know. We'd love to know. I know people who've been to the forum have done deals off the back of it. Let us know if Squad Plus has helped you do a deal. Jed, can you just check, because I'm not getting many questions through, can you check on the chat if there's any more questions? Because I'm just looking at the questions there, and there's a hand up. Oh, hang on. Wayne, I'm going to unmute you, Wayne, because you put your hand up, I think. Hopefully you're able to talk to us. Let's have a little chat. We'll see if we can get, where are we? Allowed to talk more. Wayne, are you there? Oh, I can't hear him. He's muted. Oh, hang on. I'll just try and unmute him. Ask to unmute. Tell you what, I'm getting good at these technical things, or am I? No, we haven't got Wayne. We'll catch up with Wayne after the event.
Yeah, you've just got. I think you just got to click. You might be able to get him now.
It says he's muted himself according to this.
Okay, all right. Okay. Format that I use as well, but I'm sure he'll throw a question in there for us.
Yeah, we'll get to him with a question, with his question.
Just type it in if he wants to type it in. It's fine. It's not a problem.
If you've got a question, guys, Paul as well. I think you've had your hand up. I'm not able to unmute you for some reason. I don't know why that is. But if you've got a question, please type it into the question bar.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, we've had a lot of the questions we've had from people, Tony. Again, it generally was basically about most people ask about the updates. So it's just the updates. So we just constantly send the information through. We also send the chart as it is now, the live chart as it is today. Also, we send through the chart as of how the season finished as well, so you can also compare how many players actually had in certain positions, players that was on loan, the guys who had left, what statistics they had. So when you look at your roster of players, and if you want to move a player in does the player that you've got, is he better than what the club had and what they've lost and released as well? So that's another little bit of information for you as well. So you can gauge your own player and compare what you've got to potentially what the club's got there, but also where the player lays. Your player may not be necessarily the first choice. You want him to move into a club that's going to be that backup player looking for that first opportunity to step up another division and so on. The information's there for you.
Yeah, I've got to. We'll finish. This will be the last question, guys, because it's getting towards 12 and my stomach's starting to rumble. It's from James. James says, does the National League package contain both North and South leagues?
No, it only covers the actual 24 in the league at the moment, and then when that's decided who's going to get promoted through the playoffs or so on, those teams will be added into it as well. So it's only
So it's just the National League Prem.
Poor David has been doing the National League this year. If he had to go and do the North and South as well,
kill him.
He would be on a nervous breakdown at the moment. So no, so it's only the 24, but also the teams that come up now that we know are going to come up into the league. The playoffs finished as well. They'll be added into it as well.
So listen, guys, Jed, thank you ever so much. Let's hope for a good summer of transfer activity, stimulated, let's say, by Squad Plus and with the help of Squad Plus. We've got another webinar on the 21st of August, and if you've got questions, you can come to Jed as well between that time. I think that's a Friday morning as well, Jed, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Fridays.
And the next football transfer forum is Thursday, the 6th of August, when we've got our special guest Rob Scott. We've also got an agent called Joe Doncor on there. So it's a couple of weeks' time. Please sign up for that, and we'll hopefully see you again. I'm going to finish off with a trailer for the